friends, Mary with the Paint and Peach here, and today we are in a collaboration playlist. This playlist is all about recreating some of your favorite projects from other creatives. So I'll tell you more about that in just a bit, but for now, let's get started. Today's inspiration piece is Fall Inspired Vintage Silver Tray by Yesterday's Tomorrows. I found this silver tray at my local Goodwill, and it is a little wobbly, so I figured I would use it to recreate this beautiful tray that Yesterday's Tomorrow did. I don't have her specific decoupage paper, but I'll be using one of my printables to create this tray. So I'm starting out with some plaster chalk paint, and I'm covering the whole thing with 2 really good coats. Today's collaboration is Recreation Inspiration, and the hosts are Lowly D's Creations, The Chic Show DIY, and Lady Red Crafting. The music that you hear today in my video has been created by my son, Mason Miller, with the use of AI. Now that we have our tray covered really well with the plaster paint, we're going to add Mod Podge in the center area of the tray so that we can add our paper. This printable is one I created for my VIP group, and I have cut it down to fit in the inside. It doesn't fit all the way, but we are going to do a lot of blending, so it's okay if it doesn't fit. I'm just going to cover the whole top of it with Mod Podge as well, and then we're going to dry it really well. Once you finish watching me today, make sure you check out my description, and there you will find a link to all the creatives in this wonderful playlist. Alright, our tray is nice and dry, and I'm coming in and I'm going to start blending. I'm using some of my chalk pastes and some paints to try to match up these colors as good as I can. Of course, they're not going to be perfect, but as long as the colors flow, I'll be happy with it. I use a lot of blending with my hands and brushes and different things. I know I probably do it different than others, but I like to use my hands when I blend, so everything flows in together. So I'm using some colors from Chalk Couture, and I'm using the colors Saucy and Hey Pumpkin, and I can't remember what the yellow one is called, but it's one of my favorites. But these colors seem to match really well, so I went with the chalk paste. Blending takes a lot of work and layers and just trying to match colors up. Sometimes you get it wrong and you just have to blend it out or cover it up. But if you just take your time and just keep layering, it will turn out as if it was a part of your picture. I hit those handles with a little bit of that folk art gold, and now I'm going over them with a gold glaze, and I believe this gold glaze is from Redesigned by Prima, and I'm just hitting different areas of the tray and going over my printable with it, and then I'll wipe back a little bit of it as well. Now I'm just going over it with some Maker's Magic. This will make my tray be usable and won't chip any of the paint or anything like that. Maker's Magic is also food safe. It needs to cure for a certain amount of time, but in order to be food safe. But I could use this tray for Thanksgiving or serving some sandwiches on or anything. I'm really loving the Maker's Magic. I'm not a glossy girl, but if it helps be food safe, that's great. Here is the finished tray. I hope you really enjoyed watching me create this inspiration piece. Here is inspiration piece number 2 by the Eclectic Cottage, and she made some bundt pan pumpkins, and I'm gonna make one today as well. I have this bundt pan and it is super slick, so I'm taking my gator sander and I'm getting off as much of that slickness as I can, and then I'm going in with this really country blue color. It is a sample paint that I got from Bear from Home Depot, and I am just going over the whole thing. You can see that the paint is not adhering to certain areas, and that's because of the slickness, the non-stick part of this bundt pan, but I just keep going and I keep adding layers and drying, and eventually it covers up well. This paint dries like a matte finish, so I really like it. I'm not, like I said in the last one, I'm not really a glossy kind of girl, so the matte is for me. I'm now taking some surface wax and I'm going over the whole thing just to give it a little bit of something underneath my glaze that I'm about to use. So I'm using this glaze again, and I'm going to cover the whole pumpkin with it, and then we're going to wipe it back some, and you just kind of got to play with it a little bit to get it right where you want it. This was way too much for me, so I'm wiping back, and then I end up adding a little bit more of the blue back on top. Later I end up adding a little bit more of the gold back on top, so it's just however you like it. I'm taking some of that surface wax now and just wiping back a little bit, and then I'm taking the blue paint and adding a little bit back to it, and I really like the way this color turned out. Now that I got that done, I have this little piece of styrofoam that has green around it like a felt, and I'm going to push that down in the center of my pumpkin. I have this little candlestick I got from Hobby Lobby. I'm using some stain from Rust-Oleum to stain it up really pretty and dark, and we are going to glue that right into the center of that styrofoam so that it can be our pumpkin stem. Now I'm taking some Excelsior and I am gluing that all around the stem and pushing it down in there as good as I can. And then I have some green moss that I'm going to add on top of that as well, just to give it a little bit more of a primitive look. And then I'm going to trim off some of that Excelsior that's sticking out all crazy and wiry. After that, I have some cheesecloth that I'm going to cut a strip and I'm going to tie it around that stem. Right here you see me adding a little bit of that gold glaze back onto my pumpkin and on my stem as well. I have these little leaves here, and I'm just cutting them off of a little pick that I have, and I'm adding those in. And then this is where I do the cheesecloth. I'm going to tie just a small piece around it, and then we're going to make a ribbon as well. While I'm making this bow, I want to remind you to check out the playlist. It is in my description, and all of the hosts for today's collaboration playlist is in my description as well. They're all tagged, so check out their pages and let them know I sent you. All right, we've got this little scraggly bow. I'm just trimming it up, and we're going to add it right on top of where that cheesecloth sits. And then we're going to grab a cute little gold button. Oh, first we're going to do our tag. I'm going to take a tag, I'm going to crumple it up, add some Distress Oxide, and write the word harvest on there. We're going to add that into our pumpkin with a little piece of twine. And then we're going to add a pretty gold button right in the center of our bow. I really enjoyed making this pumpkin. I love the blue and gold together. I think it's very vintage looking. And here is the finished pumpkin all displayed on my little cabinet, and I think it turned out just beautiful. Thank you for watching today, and I hope that you'll check out everyone. I also want to thank my host for today's collaboration, Lowly D's Creations, The Chic Show DIY, and Lady Red Crafton for having me in this playlist. I hope you'll give me a like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.